Hi, this is Tara with Love Prevails here with my friend Maggie. How are you, Maggie?
I'm good. Hi, guys.
It's good to see everybody for another Monday. And Maggie, what I'm doing here with Love Prevails is I'm introducing my business. And what we're doing is interventions, peer support for people that are perhaps struggling with addiction. Maybe they don't know that they are struggling with addiction. Perhaps you're a loved one that's watching your loved one struggle with addiction. And so I am introducing Love Prevails and love an opportunity to work with you, work with your loved one, to get them into treatment and to get them the help that they deserve and that is out there for them. And so I'm really grateful that you agreed to come and do this video with me. How are you?
I'm good. Yeah, I'm happy to be here. I'm good. Just working. Been working a lot this week.
Oh yeah,
Busy.
What do you do?
I do a couple different things, but mainly I work at Free Recovery Center. I do the trauma-informed yoga there. Today I roast coffee at Wagon Coffee. It's all at Free Recovery Center. So just a lot of different hats with that. It's nice.
Yeah, I'd love to hear more about what trauma informed yoga is. But before we get into all of that, tell me how was your weekend? What'd you do this weekend?
I worked.
You were.
So I have tomorrow off. I have Wednesdays off, but weekends I work at a restaurant. Busy Memorial Day. I did a little self-care. Went to the gym. Did a face mask. I try to take care of myself when I'm working that hard physically. So
I try to take care of myself. I used to be better at it than I am.
Yeah.
Now.
It's like ebbs and flows for me.
I work a lot of hours too, and this weekend I had hit a wall of exhaustion. I don't know if you've ever hit a wall of exhaustion.
Oh yeah, always.
I hit a wall of exhaustion, and me and my oldest daughter, we did a little bit of running around. But I was so tired that I literally had to take brief naps all day long with everything I was doing. And we finally got home. I'm laying in bed, and we're watching TV together in bed, and could not do another thing. And I'm laying there, and I'm like, oh, I better wash my face before I fall asleep. But I could barely move. I was so exhausted. And my daughter, she goes, Mom, can I wash your face for you? Oh. It was the sweetest thing. I'm like, just instant tears. Yes.
I love that.
And so I'm laying in bed, and she's bringing everything in and washing my face while I'm laying in bed. And
oh, miracles.
all I could do was just sit there and cry. It was it's gonna make me cry just thinking about it. It was the sweetest thing. I needed that really, really bad.
Yeah.
It was really thoughtful.
Yeah.
It was a very, very thoughtful thing.
I know some background with you and your family, so that's pretty cool. That's a big deal.
It was very. We went to the museum, and it was raining so hard. Are you loving the rain?
No. I'm a summer girl. I want the sun. I'm ready.
Yeah, but the rain's going to make a better summer.
You're right. Okay.
With the green and everything.
I have hope.
I love the rain. And we were downtown. We went to the museum, and I'm pushing her in a wheelchair right now because she tore her meniscus, and so isn't weight bearing, and it was easier just to take her in a wheelchair. So we're walking across the street, and I lose my flip flops in the rain, so I have to pick my flip flops off and run across the busy street with her in a wheelchair. But it was so much fun. Cute. It was so much fun.
It sounds like a good weekend.
Yeah. So tell me a little bit more about the informed yoga or the trauma informed yoga.
Trauma informed yoga. So when I first got sober in 2016, I was at a place that does 12-step meetings, and I was trying those, but I could not sit still. My mind was just racing a million miles per hour. And at that club, there was a 12-step yoga class, and it changed my life. I would not be alive. I would not be sober for that if it wasn't for that today and 12-step. But I learned just from my own experience that we hold a lot of trauma, a lot of emotions in our bodies. And a lot of the work that I had done was a lot of cognitive stuff. So like helping my brain and helping my figure out my thoughts. But yoga helped me get connected to the body, to slow down my nervous system, to be more mindful, just so many things. So then years later, in 2020, I got my own trauma informed yoga certification, which really, really focuses more on just breath work, slowing down, and just finding really, really like nourishing poses for whether you've experienced any trauma or even just stress. So every time that we've experienced something, our body holds it. So research shows us that now. And so my yoga class does sound bowls, which can be really good for the nervous system. And so I hold multiple classes a week that just help you kind of rejuvenate and really are a huge part of or just like another chapter of healing. So it's not just yoga will keep you sober. It's just one of the many things that can kind of help you on your journey. And it's been really cool.
Yeah.
I love it. I love doing it. And
It's what one of the great things about being sobriety is there are different ways for everybody, and whatever you're into, that it's there for you if you stick around long enough. Um, and I know somebody that takes your yoga class and they absolutely love it. And the sound bowls. Now I've never taken your yoga class, um, mostly because it's too far away for me to drive to take, but I'd like to at some point. What makes trauma informed yoga different than regular yoga?
So westernized yoga is mostly you'll go into like a gym or a yoga class, and it's very fast paced. It's kind of for one body, and they're not paying as much attention to the breath and the sensations in the body. And so trauma-informed yoga is really, really about paying attention to what's going on and what do you need. So instead of listening to the instructor go here and go here and go here, it's more of like, maybe try this. If it doesn't work for your body, we'll try a different one. And it's also just the knowledge. Being in trauma informed instructor is the knowledge of knowing that we do hold those emotions in our bodies. And so if you're in a yoga class with an instructor that doesn't know that, you could be in a really vulnerable pose and be triggered. And the teacher is walking behind you, or just all different things of just being more aware that we hold trauma in the body, and that yoga is a really beautiful tool to help release a lot and kind of nourish the body. And if you're not aware of those two things together, it can really be detrimental. Right. And so I think that all yoga teachers should be trauma informed, but most are getting there. So a lot of yoga is getting a little more healing, back to more healing. And so yoga originated like in the East, and they really it's not as much about always the strong poses and the go go go. It's more about like getting connected to yourself, and it's important. It's an important part of healing, I think.
My understanding of yoga is it's breathing and stretching. I never even heard of trauma informed until somebody I know started taking your class, and so I think that's really cool. How do you provide specialized? I'm sure you've got a big class being.
I do.
How do you know what is working and what needs to change with individuals?
So I usually offer with most every pose like 4 different options. And I always let them know that one option is to just kind of lay on your mat and find your breath. That is also yoga. It's not just about poses. But for the most part, it's very, very slow, and a lot of just deep stretching. And so we're not moving all over the place in ways that most people can't. It's pretty accessible to everybody. I have like 25-year-olds. I have like 85-year-olds. I have some people that are in wheelchairs. We do some chair yoga in some of my classes.
Wow.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. I mean, I've just known so many people that'll go into a yoga class and be like, "Oh, I can't do yoga. I stink at yoga," and that I hope to bring that knowledge that anybody can do yoga, that it's accessible to everybody.
Well, it's just like anything, you learn as you go.
Yeah. Yeah. And
And,
then it's really for your body. It doesn't have
mhm.
to look like the person next to you.
And you shouldn't feel like you have to be an expert at
Right.
anything.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, and trauma informed, it'd be kind of a slower process because you're working through stuff as you go, so it can
Hmm.
be an emotional experience too, I would
Right.
imagine.
Oh, very. And I mean, you think about like talk therapy is really powerful, but you're cognitively talking about it. And how many of us have sat across from a therapist and you can just kind of, how do I say in a kind way, like BS your way through talking and not actually feel it. And so the combination of if you're doing, maybe you're not doing 12 step, but you're open to be doing talking to a therapist, but it's not really connecting. Yoga, especially trauma informed yoga, can help you get connected to the things. So right, it's like that idea of feeling is healing, right? If
Mm-hmm.
I can't feel it, then how am I ever going to let it go and heal it or process it? So
Right.
it's just a really powerful tool to help process things.
And if you're anything like me, you start feeling uncomfortable feelings and you just like
Yeah.
don't want to do it and you ignore it and you move on. And so when you are having to listen to your body,
Mm.
I mean, a lot can come with that. And I can imagine for me it'd be a very emotional experience.
Well, and I try to like my intention with teaching is to walk through that process. So again, that's kind of the difference between regular yoga and a trauma informed yoga instructor. Is a regular yoga teacher is making you go through these poses, but not really understanding that all those emotions can be coming up. A trauma informed yoga teacher takes it slower, as in, like, hey, this pose may release a lot of emotion. It may not, but if it does, here's some breath work, here's some grounding
Mm-hmm.
exercises, here are some, allowing you to remind yourself that you can come out of the pose, that you can, different things like that. So that's why I think it's so important for yoga and teachers to know that, like you're talking about, that a lot of things can be coming up because
Mm-hmm.
it can be a lot
Yeah.
getting connected to yourself.
I'll have to try it at some point.
Yeah.
Now, you've been sober a little while. I know that I've heard parts of your story here and there. I'd like for you to tell us what made you get sober.
Mm. I think about this a lot. So I started drinking when I was really young, 13. I got alcohol poisoning when I was 13 or 14. I had my stomach pumped. I got driver's or Mothers Against Drunk Driving classes. I got minor in possession. And I remember thinking, like, I can't drink safely. I should not be drinking. um, but there really wasn't a solution offered. I just got in trouble, which was understandable.
Mm-hmm.
But there wasn't a solution of, like, I mean, for me, that alcohol really was medicine. And I was not about to stop using it.
Right.
And then I tried getting sober on my own by working out and, all the things in my early 20s, and it just didn't work. I tried to go to school and thought that would help. I moved. I tried drinking just beer, and I just couldn't stop on my own. Um, and then luckily, I lost absolutely everything, went totally insane, completely insane,
Mm.
hurt a lot of people, and decided to do a 12-step program and really, really do all of the steps and other things that come along with it. Like the yoga was really helpful for me. Um, Different communities just helping me get comfortable not drinking. Right. So, yeah, there wasn't like a moment. I didn't have like a bottom that helped me. I had had bottoms my entire drinking. It was just finally, I had done every other option besides 12 step and like true real recovery programs. I did Colorado Artists in Recovery, which is also here at Free. It's not in a 12 step affiliation. That's been really helpful for me too. All different things. I just actually dove in and did them instead of just saying, I'm not going to drink today.
Right.
Because that was terrible. That was not fun not drinking.
Mm-mm.
So,
No, I used to do that too. I'm not going to drink today. Well, I just have a little bit, so I'm just going to finish this off.
yeah.
Well, I'll just buy another bottle and I'll quit when I'm done with this bottle in a couple days. And
Mm-hmm.
I would do stuff like that. So, and you're still really young. And
Thank you.
so, so I'm always fascinated by that because I didn't stop drinking till I was in my 50s. And so I can't imagine. I got through my 20s. My 20s, I had a blast. And I did a lot of stuff in my
Wow.
20s, not just drinking. I did a lot of stuff. And so I can't imagine having to quit in my 20s when you're supposed to be doing this. Both of my girls had to quit in their 20s.
Mhm.
And to me that just blows my mind.
Well, that's what when I was first trying to get sober in my 20s, that was the fear of like, what about my wedding? Or I said, what about my sister's wedding? But my sister was like in middle school at the time. She was so young. And what am I going to do for fun? And that was a huge fear. But I can very firmly say that I have had so much more fun in sobriety as a younger person getting sober than I did when I was drinking. And mine was severe. My drinking was severe.
Mm-hmm.
That I got sober at 27, and my 20s and my teenage years were hell. And I would not have made it to my 30s if I hadn't stopped. It wasn't like a party anymore. It was severe alcoholism.
Yeah.
For a long time. And I'm grateful for that today because I have grown up in sobriety. I've grown up in 12-step program and different recovery communities. I got married a year and a half ago, and I had no interest in having any alcohol. My mom had suggested a fake champagne to do like the toast, and even that I was like, I'm good,
Mm-hmm.
which is such a miracle. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, it's fun. It's fun getting sober young, which I can't believe I even say that now because the thought of being sober when I was young, it was just like, oh, you're so like you're boring.
Yeah, but you've got your whole life ahead of you.
Right. I've
Whereas
traveled.
at my age, I don't have my life ahead of me anymore.
Mm.
My youngest daughter, she would always tell me, I'm not 21. I'm not getting sober until I'm 21. Because I'm gonna live it up until I'm 21. I'm like, let's be honest, you've already lived it up. I tell her all the time, I think you've already done that.
Yeah.
You've already done it.
But I think that's like just the definition of living it up has changed so much because I really thought like, okay, I've got to stop drinking, but I'm going to be so boring.
Yeah.
And I have just gotten there's just I look back, I'm like, that was not fun. I was falling over. I was embarrassing myself. Like it wasn't real
Falling
fun.
over, getting angry, puking, forgetting what went on the night before, having to make apologies.
Right.
Yeah.
Ruining everybody's night, all the events. Yeah, it was not good.
It's not pretty. It's not as pretty looking back as it is at the time.
No.
Yeah.
Wow, I'm grateful.
Yeah. So what
You're still
keeps
young.
you me?
Yes, you still got a lot of life in you.
You know, I feel like I do.
Yeah.
I feel young.
Good.
I'm going to be 54. It's possible this is going to air on my birthday. I can't remember what the date set for this is. But yeah, on June 9th.
Oh, nice.
But you know what? I feel young. And I feel like
nice.
I'm in the prime of my life. I feel better today than I did in my 30s.
Right? See, that's the whole thing. Like you get sober, you're actually living and feel good.
Mm-hmm.
Weird.
I have energy. Life is by far better. Life right now is exhausting because I'm building a business and I'm doing a lot of things that I wouldn't normally do to build a business. And with all of this comes a great deal of exhaustion. But it's a productive life, not a wasted life.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah. So what keeps you sober? Why do you keep walking this path?
Oh, I enjoy it. 100% enjoy it. I can very, very, very confidently say that if I was just not drinking and miserable and just hanging on, I would be drinking again. I stay sober because I have found through the 12 steps, through exercise, yoga, community of sober people, art with the Colorado Artists in Recovery, that I truly, truly enjoy not drinking. And those times, like I've gone through breakups, I've gone through deaths, I've traveled all over the world without a drink, and there has not been a time where I feel like, oh, I need a drink to escape. I have all these other tools that just make it that I really have no interest in drinking again. I have not felt the need or desire to take a drink.
Right.
But I do know that I've had moments where I'm not in my recovery, I'm not working my recovery as well as I should, and I get annoyed and down and anxious, and those are the times that I remember, like, I have to keep doing this because I don't want to drink again. And if it's like I'm not going to drink again, maybe I just don't want to be here.
Yes.
And that's a big one too. And so it's like I have those three options, right? I'm either not going to be on the earth, I'm going to drink, and that's just freaking miserable. I've already tried that. Or I'm going to do recovery and like really, really enjoy this thing. And I really, really do. I'm somebody that I don't do I'm getting better, but I don't do things that I don't want to do. So if I wasn't enjoying this, I wouldn't be doing it.
I'm one of those people too. If I don't want to do it, I'm not going to do it.
Yeah.
I won't even try if I don't want to do it. But I go through that too, where I'm just like, is this it? And I have to get on top of it, because I'll be like, this is not what I signed up for, and not a life I want to live anymore.
Right.
And I have to be like, no, this is good.
I have to say that my experience with that, because I get that a lot, is I'm having to do something deeper. So like I've done a couple different 12-step programs. I've had to just find there's something, if I'm not enjoying my sobriety, there's something that I have to work on. It's not like when I hear people say like this is all there is, but at least I'm sober. It's like, no. If you're not enjoying the hell out of your life in your recovery, keep doing it, keep digging. There's something there that's kind of blocking you from that that enjoyment, that light. So
yeah, because if that's how I felt every day, and I do go through periods of that, because if the things I've been through in my life don't mean something, and if I can't use them to help others or for some purpose, what's the point of all of that? And I don't want to live a life that has no purpose. And so to say that I'm sober, it's all that matters, it's not enough for me. And it's not, it wouldn't keep me sober.
No,
I need to, there has to be purpose to my sobriety. And if I'm sitting on my couch just satisfied that I'm sober, it's not going to keep, and there's no way. It's not a life I want to live.
It's not enjoyable. Definitely not.
And so, and that's another reason why I decided to start Love Prevails, is because to me, I'm finally using what my life experience for it has purpose now. And for me, that's very important.
I love that. Same. Wow.
And so you can do that with the trauma informed yoga too. That's me speaking for you, so I don't know if that's true, but
definitely.
I would assume it gives you purpose.
It gives me great purpose, and it's funny because I got to go back to school and get a degree in sobriety, which was very cool. I'm so grateful, but I'm not using it. And what's cool is that I do have my certifications in my yoga, but it is amazing to be like giving something that I was given to me through my work. And it's a great, especially the classes I teach at Free it's just a great community. It's like the same people for the most part every week, and just another place to be sober and connected and feeling good and, I don't know, relaxing a little bit. It's definitely not, you just never feel sad or never feel mad or, all those things, but they're more like in context. Like, I'm upset or annoyed now because something annoying is happening. Before it was just like everything's great and I am so annoyed.
Yeah.
You know, and that's, I don't really have to live like that anymore.
Right.
So
And you have the tools to work through it quicker instead of having it last
totally, yeah.
without an end.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. I love that.
Yeah. Well, this was nice.
This was nice, and I really appreciate that you did this. I don't know if
Yeah.
I've ever told you, but Maggie's one of my favorite names.
Really?
I love
No,
that
you
name so
haven't.
much.
Oh, thank you.
I do. I am a sucker for the older names.
I love
Love
it.
them.
Oh,
Love them.
it's a very popular dog name right now. So everybody's always like, "Oh, that's my dog's name." I'm
I
like,
hate that.
"Thank you."
I know my oldest daughter's name is Gracie, and I hear a lot of people with dog names. I'm like, who names their dog
My sister's
Gracie?
name is Gracie. My middle sister.
I love that name.
Yeah. Oh.
I love that name, Gracie. And I got that name because George Burns' wife of many years was named Gracie.
Really?
And I figured she had to have been a pretty amazing woman to put up with that man for that many years. But she was a comedian too. But she was a popular comedian in her own right.
Wow. I didn't know
But
that.
yeah,
Huh.
George Burns' wife. And that's how I came up with that name.
It's so cute. Yeah, I
Yeah.
don't ever hear that name. And my middle sister's name is Gracie. Sometimes she goes by Grace, which I also love.
No. I always correct people. It's not Grace. It's Gracie.
Really? Oh, I love both, Grace and Gracie.
I like Gracie. Yeah. I'm very particular about it too.
That's good.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much
for
coming and do this, and I really appreciate you sharing your story. And if you are looking for trauma informed yoga, connect with us because I'm sure Maggie would love to have you in her class.
Absolutely.
If you or somebody you know would like to share their story, please reach out to me. Please continue to join us every Monday at 3:30. Like, share, comment, and on our posts, and also take a look at our YouTube page, and all the videos are going onto YouTube with the subtitles, and would love to have you subscribe and share those as well. And thank you again. If you or somebody you know is struggling with addiction, please reach out to me. Your best life is waiting for you. We can find it together. Just connect with me. And I hope you all have a wonderful week. Thanks.